Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. We are nearing the end on Victor Frankenstein's Route, and this may not be the last video, or it might, I'm not sure. Well, it would be his good ending, and then we would have to do his bad ending and his extra scenario in another video. So there's 2 or 3 videos left, I'm not really sure how many, until we actually get to that point. So I'm going to take a look and see. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. A series of shots can be heard. The Twilight soldiers fall one after another against the sudden violent attack from the massive government forces.
Twilight is a rebel army and an enemy of our nation. Do not hesitate to destroy them.
With Leonhardt's command, there is a hailstorm of gunshots. Within a matter of minutes, all the Twilight soldiers have fallen.
Whoa, unbelievable! Aren't the guys in Twilight supposed to be the elitist of the elite? The Royal Guards are as well. It's simply a matter of whether their duties are public or not. Besides, Twilight soldiers are adept in combat, but their main tasks involve undercover missions. It's only natural that the Royal Guard would have an advantage in a head-to-head clash. And it would seem the guardsmen have come quite prepared in terms of numbers. Right. Lucky for us that they've done away with the Twilight soldiers. But it doesn't look like they're here solely to come to our aid.
Van Helsing narrows his eyes. He looks around cautiously as Lupin shakes his head, frustrated.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
We don't have time for this. My breathing is uneven as I check the pocket watch. There isn't even an hour left before the Horologium transforms.
Are you alright, Cardia?
I'm fine, but this is bad. Without the slightest consideration for the dead Twilight soldiers, the Royal Guards head straight for us. They spread out to surround us, all the while aiming their guns in our direction.
Dr. Frankenstein and accomplices, I order you not to move. We will shoot you at the first sign of resistance. There is no guarantee that you will walk away alive. Ha! Like I'd try anything with this many guns pointed my way.
Leonhardt ignores Lupin's sarcasm and fixes his eyes on us. There is no trace of the gentleness he had displayed when speaking of his respect for Victoria before.
Everyone stay vigilant. He has his moments of foolishness. But there is no question that this man, Leonhardt, is a skilled swordsman. He's not the leader of the Royal Guard for nothing.
Van Helsing is visibly nervous. Leonhardt must be very strong if Van Helsing, of all people, is warning us about him. But I wonder, what are the Royal Guards doing here?
That's none of your concern.
It's fine. You may tell them, Leonhardt. I hear a sultry voice from behind the guards. This is quite relevant to that little doll over there as well. The guards in the center stand aside and kneel all at once. She walks through the path created by the guards with an air of composure. We meet again, Dr. Frankenstein, and his little doll.
Victoria.
There's much I would like to say, but why don't I begin by thanking you? Thanks to your keeping the forces of Twilight distracted, none of my soldiers were harmed. That was very helpful. You have my thanks.
So you're saying you used as bait to stir up trouble with Twilight?
That's simply how it turned out. Victoria shrugs, then takes a good look at us. I was originally monitoring Alistair. I had noticed his rebellious streak. What would happen if a girl with the potential to become a deadly monster fell into the hands of such a dangerous man? The result is, as you have seen, Alistair really showed his true colors. You can't be saying that Alistair's capturing me was all according to her calculations. Victoria narrows her eyes and smiles, catching my questioning glance. Exactly. The reason you were able to escape from Buckingham Palace was because I wanted you to roam free. And because of that, we were able to find this place. Thank you. You're all heroes who have saved this nation. Somehow I have the feeling she's not going to be grateful enough. Victoria tosses a sarcastic glance at us as she signals to the men around her. I refuse to back down and glare at her. Tell me again, Victoria. Do you intend to proceed with your plan involving terrorism, even after seeing the horrible state of this city? You would stir up the other nations of the world to start a war. Nothing has changed since what I told you back at the palace. In order for Britain to survive, I need a war to break out right now. For that, a little bit of pain is necessary.
A little bit. If you use Icterium, it would lead to the deaths of so many people. You call that a little bit?
Yes, I do. Victoria says this calmly. Her cold, dry eyes observe all of us as mere pieces on a game board. Right now, Britain still retains the technological advantage Isaac left us. But if war were to break out in 10 or 20 years, when that technological gap has been closed, with so many of our neighbors bearing us hatred, Britain will surely be trampled upon. The damage we would suffer can be expected to be far worse. That's not... As I try to protest, a hand reaches out from the side to stop me. With a smile, Saint Germain walks out in front of me.
I see. Sacrificing a few to save the majority. How very like a politician to take that position. I can understand why you would choose to do that.
Saint Germain. Oh, there seems to be someone on your side with a decent grasp of the world. Count Saint Germain, are you saying that you agree with me?
I half agree.
Saint Germain turns back to us and smiles as we stand there in surprise. Then he turns to Victoria once more and speaks to her coldly.
However, you're really seeing just the one nation of Britain. From an international perspective, your reasoning seems very one-sided.
Say whatever you want. I am the Queen of Britain. What good am I if I don't consider everything from Britain's standpoint? Victoria furrows her brow at Saint Germain's argument as she continues. I will tell you one thing. This underground space is not merely for storing Zicterium. The facility itself is one immense weapon. A weapon...
What do you mean?
After Zicterium's discovery, Isaac created a large-scale mechanism that involves the whole of London. The city of Steel London is comprised of many technologies that must not be allowed to fall into the hands of enemy nations. Alchemy, engineering, life sciences, aerodynamics, physics, marine engineering, even a new form of energy. This city has accumulated knowledge and technology far beyond the reach of any other nation in a number of fields. So the city is designed to prevent it from being taken by enemy nations, no matter what price must be paid.
So this is a self-destruct mechanism room.
Victor grows pale as he suddenly comes to a realization. His next words are uttered in a trembling voice, filled with shock and fear.
Is this a device to spread Zicterium across the entire country?
You would need to blow it up, not just poison everybody, because then the technology will still be there. That doesn't make any sense. Yes, a Zicterium self-destruct device, of sorts. It's what I've been searching for all along. London and its residents will need to be sacrificed as the prelude to a world war.
You're going to destroy all of London to pull the trigger on a worldwide war?
Are you serious? Why would I jest about this?
That's abhorrent. History will never forgive you for this.
I have no intention of being forgiven. I'll most likely be tortured for eternity in the flames of hell. Victoria smiles beautifully. Her smile is so calm and collected that it gives me chills. Many in London will die because of this. But the sectarian poison will dissipate within a few days, and those who remain will seek the path of revenge and harbor hatred against the other terrorist nations.
And that hatred will lead to war. Is that how you see it?
It's an absolutely evil plan. To think that she would be willing to destroy her own capital to start a war. If the war begins now, even if the damage to London is severe, the overpowering weaponry left behind by Isaac's legacy will lead Britain to a victory. Wouldn't you say that temporarily losing London is a fair price to pay for that purpose? Myself, Victor, and everyone else, we are all at a loss for words after hearing this horrifying plan. She speaks so matter-of-factly about this sacrifice, but I cannot understand her logic at all. But there's something else even more terrifying. It's that Victoria seems to have no doubt whatsoever that her plan will be effective.
Don't you understand? If you activate something like that, the people of London won't be the only ones affected. You will die too.
Yes, you are right. But why does that matter? She tilts her head mockingly as she asks this, and Victor has no response. The plan will be all the more effective if I, the nation's leader, am a victim. It'll serve to stir up more hatred. I have made arrangements to see to it the plan proceeds smoothly, even after my death. Once it begins, it cannot be stopped, no matter who takes the lead. So, you don't even care if you lose your own life? That's right. I am Queen Victoria, ruler of Great Britain. There is not a single reason for me to mourn the fact that I will be sacrificed for my country. That will finally bring an end to my duties. Still smiling sweetly, she gazes over our faces as we stand in silence. However, Victor breaks the silence.
Who do you think you are?
His face is scrunched up with anger as he spits these words at Victoria.
No matter what great justice it serves, killing innocent people, going about their lives should never be considered.
The anger in Victor's eyes is unmistakable as he glares at her. Victoria simply serves him a quiet glance. Dr. Frankenstein, I envy you.
Envy me?
Indeed. You proclaim only what is just and keep your distance from what you know to be wrong. You brandish your righteousness as a weapon, unaware of the great sacrifices that come with justice. Had I the choice, I would have stayed in your position. I didn't want to have to take such responsibility. Victoria. For a fleeting moment, unless I imagined it, Victoria looks sad, but her expression changes in an instant. She slowly begins to walk, with Leonhard at her side. By the way, Dr. Frankenstein, the bluff you pulled with Alistair earlier was quite interesting. You did make most of it up, but like all great lies, there is a kernel of truth. She takes out a faintly glowing pendant. This hall has been sealed, quite like Pandora's box, which contained all the evils of the world. And Finis was our one and only Pandora, who was capable of opening it. Now that he is dead, the pendant he left behind is the only remaining key. She raises the pendant into the air, and it begins to shine brightly. A ray of light pierces through the darkness and shines upon a pattern on the wall. Then, the seemingly ordinary wall splits into two, revealing a path leading deeper inside.
Is this even real? What kind of amazing technology made this even possible? Was all this really created by a single scientist?
Isaac Beckford was a man who single-handedly changed the history of the world. It probably wasn't any trouble for him. A new and eerie path lies before us, looking for all the world like it could lead us into the depths of hell. Victoria turns to me as she steps onto the path. Now, Dr. Frankenstein, gather your little doll and come this way. You want us to go with you.
What are you doing?
I know that the little doll here is in need of Sectarium, and that Sectarium has no effect on her, and her alone. Meaning that even if Sectarium is activated, you will survive it. I can't have you becoming a creature of mass destruction after that happens. Because if I spread the poison everywhere, it would be impossible to restore London. Exactly, so I will cooperate with you to prevent you from turning into a monster. Victoria smiles kindly and takes a persuasive tone of voice. Once everything is over, you must come under the government's protection. And, please, lend me your strength as Britain prepares to face these difficult times. You want me to help you as a weapon. Alistair had told me. If I went along with Victoria, I will most likely be dissected by researchers. I don't know if that's true, but it's not too difficult to imagine her taking advantage of my destructive ability to use me as a weapon. And if I refuse, in that case, London will be destroyed by your poison, your friends, and all of us included. It will be a bit of a detour, but either way, my plan will end in success. There's nothing that can be done. What can I say or do when she is so close to total victory over us?
You are so completely aggressive and ruthless. A wonderful leader by some standards.
I'll take that as a compliment. Victoria smiles as Lupin and Van Helsing trade a confused glance, bitter expressions on their faces.
I see. I understand what you intend to do with these two. So, what do you have in mind for us? Do you want to stay here and deal with your subordinates?
Let's see. Why don't you stay behind and have fun while you wait for me to activate the weapon? Although even if you don't do anything, in about 40 minutes, your precious little doll is going to destroy London in any case. Victoria checks her watch, then looks over at all of us. What will it be? Make your choice. Allow only her to survive out of all of you, or you can all die together. My mind was made up from the start. I open my mouth to speak before anyone else gets the chance. In my mind, it's completely clear what I should do. I'm not going to obey you. There's no point in me surviving this alone. That's why I'm going to stay with everyone until the end.
Cardia.
So, you've chosen death for you all. The soldiers all raise their guns at once. Every one of their guns is pointed at us. Do not forget that this matter is not open for debate. Once you have awakened as a monster, someone will have to deal with it. It would be ideal if you could help us, but we always have the option of terminating you. That is all Victoria says before turning her back to us. We'll be off now. If you have any doubts about disobeying, it's not too late to follow me. I only wish for you to make a decision that you won't regret. Victoria leaves, taking only Leonhardt with her as she goes ahead. We are left behind, along with the royal guards aiming their guns at us. Nobody says anything. We all desperately glare at the guards, with their guns pointed towards us. I don't know what to say, but it seems Victor is the only one among us who does.
Let's go, Cardia. We have to treat your poison.
He says this with determination as he takes my hand. Victor, do you intend on letting only me survive out of all of you, like Victoria said? I glare at him in protest, but he simply stares directly at me.
You see, Cardia, I've been thinking all this time. I thought that maybe I was only doing this just to run away from my past.
That's not...
No, it's a fact that this is how I feel. I wanted to destroy the Sectarians so I wouldn't have to face my crimes.
Victor looks up at the ceiling.
But when I found out that the Sectarian could be used to save your life, when I found out that the one thing I need to have a future with you is the same thing I was trying to destroy to escape my past, that's when I finally realized
There's no point in running from what I've done. It's almost as if he's looking through the ceiling into his own life's history.
That's probably how Victoria feels. There's no way she can change Britain's history by invading other countries. That's why she's not even acknowledging the past, instead relying solely on power to plow ahead and give Britain a future. But doing that won't give this nation a better tomorrow. Even if she succeeds, it will only lead to more anger and hatred. That's how the world has continued repeating the same mistakes over and over.
Victor.
That's why I'm going to stop Victoria.
Victor looks back to all of us. I notice that even the royal guards are listening attentively to him.
Cardia, I want to atone for what I've done. I want to save you. I'm not going to give anything up. I will stop Victoria no matter what, and save you as well.
Victor smiles and holds out his hand to me.
So, come with me, Cardia.
I gently take his hand and respond with a bright smile. I would go anywhere with you.
Really, guys, this is a great time to be declaring your love for one another. Go right ahead.
Lupin's teasing brings us back to our senses.
Go on, we'll take care of the rest. Yeah, go for it. We'll catch right up. Say hi to the Queen for me, will ya? In a way, the Queen may have a point. I still like how Victor thinks better. Don't worry about us. We'll get this under control and follow to back you up.
The royal guards snap back to reality and raise their guns once again.
Couldn't they at least try to appeal to the guards and say, hey, do you guys really want to die here?
The four men dash forward in the same moment.
Go, you two. Thanks, you guys. Let's go, Cardia.
Right. He smiles softly at me as he starts running, my hand still in his. Those who don't know him well may see him as a timid man, but to me, his smile is purely reassuring. Chapter 13, Princess's Night. "30 minutes remaining. Britain's Queen Victoria plans to use Dicterium as a weapon to change London into a city of death. Victor and I are running down a passage, chasing after her. I'm short of breath. My body is hot. My head feels heavy, and my vision is wavering. Is my body being affected by the transformation of the horologium? My condition is worsening by the minute. I can barely keep running. I need to hurry and reach what's up ahead as fast as I can. Telling myself this, I try to keep pace with Victor, but my legs are sluggish and I come to a stop. Victor stands next to me, holding me up by leaning me against him. Thank you, Victor.
This is the least I could do for you. I wish I could change places with you so you don't have to suffer anymore.
He looks frustrated, grimacing and gritting his teeth. There's just too little time left for me. Will I become death incarnate, or will they use the Dicterium? Either way, at this rate, London will be destroyed according to Victoria's plan. There is probably only one way to protect Victor and everyone else. That's right. After we stop Victoria, before I become a monster, I'll have to... I slowly touch the dagger I took from the Twilight Soldier before I arrived here. Then...
Don't get any ideas.
He's noticed me. Victor...
I won't let you resort to that. We don't even know if it'll work.
But there's no other way to protect you and everyone else. I speak softly, looking up into Victor's eyes. His gentle eyes shine with a strong determination.
You're kind. Too kind. Maybe that hinders you from understanding how others feel. I won't be happy if you die and I survive. How painful do you think it would be for me to live in a world without you?
Victor's voice assures me that he's not angry at all. His voice is overflowing with sadness and kindness. This makes the pain in my chest tighten more than I even thought it could. I want to believe in Victor. If there's any gleam of hope that we can both survive together, I want to take that chance to capture a bright future. But every time I think this, the heavy memories of my past sneak up on me. The memory of the day when I committed a crime that can never be undone. Listen, Victor. Someone once died in my place because I tried to live. Before I know it, the words spill out of my mouth. She was a kind-hearted woman. She accepted me, even after finding out about the poison inside me. But she ended up dying because of it. Eddie and Elaine's faces swim into my mind's eye. I couldn't do anything for her as she was suffering, dying from my poison right in front of my eyes. I didn't even have the chance to hold her hand and comfort her. That's why I look down at my poison-tainted hands and speak in a trembling voice. I don't want to go through that again. I really don't. If you died like that because of my poison, if that happens, a future I don't even want to imagine crosses my mind. That day, I tried to leave the mansion because I didn't think I should stay with everyone anymore. The day Victor, who had stopped me from leaving, disappeared instead. Even then, the heartache was too much to bear. This time, it would be far worse. If Victor dies, I'll never be able to see him again. When I think of this,
I'm not going to die.
He touches my shoulder with his hand. Victor has stopped running and is looking me straight in the eyes.
Cardia, you and I are the same.
The same.
If you say your poison killed people, then the same can be said for me, the one who actually created it. If you say you had to watch as people died right in front of you because of that poison, I had to see that too. I saw people die right in front of me because of what I created.
Victor,
I'm no different from you. My offense is greater.
Victor's grip on my shoulders tightens to the point of pain. Victor looks up at the ceiling and speaks quietly.
That's why. I couldn't leave you alone. I'm not looking for redemption. I'm not seeking forgiveness either. But still, seeing you under the weight of the same pain, I want to save you more than ever.
Victor looks into my face, then smiles gently.
I'll drive away all your doubts and fears. But I need you to promise one thing in order for me to do that. Don't give up, no matter what. Trust me until the very last moment.
Okay, so this is where the path diverges between the good ending and the bad ending. So this is where I'm going to end this video. That should make it easy to split things up, hopefully. Alright, so I hope you join me to see Victor's good ending in the next video. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.